Christ is in our midst. Welcome to Spiritual Calisthenics. Today, on June 10th, we commemorate St. Bartholomew and Barnabas, the Holy Apostles. Now, this is not the actual feast day, and their feast day is actually on June 11th. But because it is the Saturday of Souls for Pentecost, their feast day has been moved over a day in order that we may celebrate them in their entirety. St. Bartholomew was one of the 12 apostles and had Galilee as his homeland. This is all that is known of him for certain according to the history of the Gospels. Concerning his apostolic work, certain say that he preached in Arabia and Persia, and especially in India, bringing to them the Gospel written by St. Matthew, which had been written originally in Hebrew, and which was found there 100 years later by the Paniscians, formerly a Stoic philosopher and later an illustrious teacher of the Christian school in Alexandria. Other accounts say that he went to Armenia. According to some, he ended his life by being crucified or being flayed alive in Albanopolis of Armenia. This also confirms an ancient tradition preserved by the Armenians. According to some, Bartholomew and Nathanael are the same person, because the evangelist who mentions Bartholomew do not mention Nathanael, and John, who alone mentions Nathanael as one of the 12, says nothing of Bartholomew. Indeed, Bartholomew is a patronymic name, son of Talmai, which means bold, spirited. And Nathanael could have had this as a surname. According to the Synaxarion of the Menaion on April 22nd, however, it is Simon the Zealot and Nathanael who are the same. The evangelist who mentions Simon the Zealot or the Canaanite do not mention Nathanael. O holy apostles, intercede to our merciful God that he may grant our souls forgiveness of sins. To the church thou hast appeared as a great day star, with the teachings as the rays and beams and wise miracles. Thou hast enlightened those praising thee, the Lord's apostle, O sacred Bartholomew. Now, although the Archdiocese site says that it could be Simon of Cana that is analogous to Nathanael, it is our tradition that Nathanael and Bartholomew are the same person, hence why our patriarch and our metropolitan both celebrate this day. From St. Paul's first letter to the Corinthians. Brethren, God has exhibited us apostles as last of all, like men sentenced to death, because we become a spectacle to the world, to angels and to men. Keeping in mind, these are the chosen ones, the ones that Christ our God sent out. These are his chosen people, and yet they are treated as a spectacle to the world, as the offscouring of all things, as we're about to hear. We are fools for Christ's sake, but you are wise in Christ. We are weak, but you are strong. You are held in honor, but we in disrepute. To the present hour we hunger and thirst. We are ill-clad and buffeted and homeless, and we labor, working with our own hands. When reviled we bless, when persecuted we endure, when slandered we try to conciliate. We have become and are now as the refuse of this world, the offscouring of all things. I do not write this to make you ashamed, but to admonish you as my beloved children. For though you have countless guides in Christ, you do not have many fathers. For I became your father in Christ through the gospel. I urge you then, be imitators of me. The apostles show us a life worth imitating in their self-sacrificial nature. Jesus Christ, in talking about this, said to his disciples, according to the Gospel of St. Matthew, "You are the light of the world. A city set on a hill cannot be hid, nor do men light a lamp and put it under a bushel, but on a stand, and it gives light to all in the house. Let your light so shine before men, that they may see your good works, and give glory to your Father who is in heaven." This, of course, is the light of Christ that is inside the disciples. Think not that I have come to abolish the law and the prophets. I have come not to abolish them, but to fulfill them. For truly I say to you, till heaven and earth pass away, not a iota, not a dot, will pass from the law until all is accomplished. Whoever then relaxes the least of these commandments and teaches men so, shall be called least in the kingdom of heaven. But he who does them and teaches them shall be called great in the kingdom of heaven. Notice the two verbs here. Does and teach. Oftentimes what we experience is people teaching, people talking about these good works, but they do not live them themselves. And so it is he who not only teaches, but does. Saint Nathanael, Saint Bartholomew, and Barnabas showed us through their works, their light. Let us go and imitate them. A blessed and holy, happy name day to our chief shepherd, Metropolitan Nathanael, and our patriarch, Bartholomew.